What happens when one person's rage shatters a sanctuary built on peace? In the heart of our small town, Serenity Yoga Studio was more than just a place to stretch and breathe. It was a haven. For years, it had been a refuge for those seeking solace from the chaos of life, a place where the soft hum of mindfulness drowned out the world's noise. But one woman's fury turned that sanctuary into a battlefield, and the aftermath left us all reeling. The studio was a modest space, tucked above a quaint bookstore on Main Street. Its walls were painted a soothing lavender, and sunlight streamed through tall windows, casting golden patterns on the hardwood floor. The mats, lovingly chosen by the studio's founder, Lila Monroe, were a vibrant mosaic of blues, greens, and purples, each one a testament to the community's commitment to mindfulness. Lila, a soft-spoken woman with a warm smile, had poured her heart into this place. She'd built it from nothing, turning a dusty attic into a sanctuary where people like me, a single mother named Sarah, could find peace after long days juggling work and parenting. I'd been coming to Serenity for 2 years, ever since my divorce left me feeling like a ship adrift. The studio's classes, led by Lila and her assistant, Javier, a gentle soul with a knack for making everyone feel seen, were my lifeline. There was also Emma, a quiet retiree who always brought homemade lavender tea to share, and Marcus, a former Marine who found yoga helped quiet his PTSD. We were a family, bound not by blood but by shared vulnerability. Then came Karen. Karen Whitaker stormed into our lives one crisp October morning, her heels clicking sharply on the hardwood as she surveyed the studio like a general inspecting a battlefield. She was new in town, a corporate lawyer who'd relocated after a messy divorce of her own. Her sharp features and designer yoga outfits screamed confidence, but her eyes held a restless edge. First, we welcomed her. Lila, ever the optimist, believed everyone deserved a chance to find peace. But Karen didn't come for peace, she came to conquer. Started small. Karen complained about the music, calling Lila's carefully curated playlists hippie nonsense. She rolled her eyes during Javier's guided meditations, muttering about wasted time. She'd interrupt classes to take loud phone calls, her voice slicing through the room's calm like a knife. The rest of us exchanged uneasy glances but stayed quiet, hoping she'd soften with time. After all, wasn't yoga about patience? But Karen's patience was non-existent. By her 3rd week, she was demanding private sessions, claiming the group classes were beneath her skill level. Lila, stretched thin running the studio on a shoestring budget, explained she couldn't afford to offer one-on-one classes. Karen's response was a cold smile and a warning. "You'll regret saying no to me." The tension simmered for weeks, but none of us could have predicted the explosion. It happened on a rainy Thursday evening, during a restorative yoga class. The room was dim, candles flickering as Javier guided us through a series of gentle poses. Karen arrived late, her energy crackling like a storm cloud. She unrolled her mat with a dramatic flourish, muttering about the inconvenience of the studio's schedule. Lila, ever calm, invited her to join the flow. Then it happened. As Javier instructed us to move into child's pose, Karen snapped. "This is ridiculous," she shouted, leaping to her feet. "I didn't pay for this nonsense. You call this a workout?" Her voice echoed, shattering the room's tranquility. Lila tried to soothe her, but Karen's rage was a runaway train. She grabbed her water bottle and hurled it at the wall, splattering water across the mats. Then, in a move that left us all frozen, she stormed to the supply closet, grabbed a pair of scissors and began slashing the studio's mats. The sound of ripping fabric was deafening. Brightly colored mats, each one a piece of our community's heart, were reduced to ribbons. Emma gasped, clutching her chest. Marcus stood, fists clenched, but Javier held him back, whispering for calm. Lila's face was a mask of shock, her hands trembling as she pleaded with Karen to stop. But Karen was relentless, her face twisted with a fury that seemed to come from somewhere deeper than a yoga class. "You think you can ignore me?" she screamed, slicing through another mat. "I'll make sure this place shuts down." By the time she stormed out, leaving a trail of destruction, The studio was in ruins. Mats lay in tatters, water pooled on the floor, and the air was thick with grief. Lila sank to her knees, tears streaming down her face. I rushed to her side, my own heart breaking as I realized how much this loss would cost her not just financially, but emotionally. The next morning, the studio's board, a small group of local business owners who'd invested in Serenity, met to assess the damage. The mats alone were worth thousands, custom-ordered from an eco-friendly supplier. But the real cost was the studio's spirit. Classes were canceled, and whispers spread through town about Karen's rampage. I expected her to disappear, maybe move away in shame. But Karen wasn't done. Enter Tom, the twist in our tale. Tom was Karen's estranged brother, a soft-spoken carpenter who'd moved to our town years earlier to escape their toxic family. He showed up at the studio the day after the incident, his face pale with embarrassment. "I heard what my sister did," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I want to help." Tom's offer was a lifeline. He spent days repairing what he could, crafting wooden benches to replace some of the ruined equipment. His quiet kindness was a stark contrast to Karen's chaos, and his presence gave us hope. He shared stories of their childhood, painting a picture of a woman shaped by years of bitterness and control. "She's always been like this," he admitted one evening, sanding a new shelf for the studio. "But I never thought she'd go this far." Lila, inspired by Tom's support, decided to fight back. She contacted the board, who agreed to pursue legal action. Karen's destruction wasn't just a tantrum, it was vandalism, and the board wasn't about to let it slide. They hired a lawyer, a sharp young woman named Priya, who built a case with meticulous precision. Security footage from the studio's lone camera captured every moment of Karen's rampage, and witness statements from me, Emma, Marcus, and Javier sealed her fate. The lawsuit was swift and brutal. In court, Karen tried to spin a tale of being provoked by Lila's unprofessional studio. But Priya dismantled her lies, presenting the footage and our testimonies. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a reputation for fairness, wasn't swayed by Karen's crocodile tears. The verdict came down like a hammer. Karen was ordered to pay $130,000 in damages, covering the cost of the mats, lost revenue, and emotional distress to the studio's community. For a moment, it felt like justice. We celebrated quietly, gathering at the studio to plan its reopening. Tom, now a regular presence, helped Lila design a new layout, and donations from the community poured in to replace the mats. But the victory was bittersweet. Karen's fine didn't erase the pain she'd caused. Lila's spark was dimmer, her smile less frequent. The studio reopened, but it wasn't the same. Some members, shaken by the incident, never returned. Emma's tea stopped appearing, and Marcus's attendance became sporadic. Then came the final twist, the one that broke our hearts. A month after the verdict, Tom found Lila alone in the studio, staring at the new mats. "I can't do this anymore," she confessed. The lawsuit, though won, had drained her. The weight of rebuilding, of facing the community's pity, was too much. She decided to sell the studio to a chain gym, a decision that felt like losing a piece of our souls. Serenity Yoga Studio, once a beacon of light, became just another fitness center. Its walls repainted a sterile white, its spirit erased. Karen, meanwhile, left town, her reputation in tatters. Rumors swirled that she declared bankruptcy to avoid paying the fine, but we never saw her again. Tom stayed, his quiet presence a reminder of the humanity that can emerge from chaos. But even he couldn't fill the void Lila left behind. As I stood in the new gym, surrounded by strangers and sterile equipment, I thought of that rainy evening when Karen's rage changed everything. Serenity Yoga Studio was gone, and with it, a piece of our community's heart. Sometimes justice comes at a cost too high to bear. ND.